They say boarding schools are the best. Children learn discipline, independence, and make lifelong friends. But sometimes the stories they don't tell you are the ones that matter most. Before we continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more captivating African stories. Amara secured admission into St. Mary's Secondary School in Enugu. When Amara first left, everything seemed perfect. St. Mary's was one of the oldest schools in Enugu, known for its chapel, its well-kept hostels, and the strict but fair teachers. Parents boasted about it in town, and Ngozi felt relieved that her daughter would be disciplined, learning, and safe. For the first 2 weeks, everything was ordinary. Calls were cheerful. Amara spoke about classes, new friends, and how she liked her roommate. The dining hall, the chapel prayers, the games, they all seemed harmless. Boarding school, Ngozi thought, was exactly what she wanted for her child. A few weeks later, the calls began to change. Amara started asking her mom strange questions. "Mummy, do you believe in spirits?" Amara asked one night. "What do you mean?" Ngozi said, surprised. "If someone calls your name in the dark, should you answer?" Ngozi laughed it off. Just stories children tell, she thought. But over the next few nights, the questions kept coming. Amara spoke of shadows moving in hallways where no one should be. She described footsteps in empty dormitories, cold drafts in rooms that should have been warm, and a feeling that eyes were always on her, even when she was alone. She would pause mid-conversation and whisper, "I think they watch us." Amara wasn't the only one noticing strange things. Other students began to whisper of lights flickering in wings that had been abandoned for years. Some talked about an old shrine behind the school, hidden under thick bushes, where no one dared to go. Seniors warned juniors not to enter certain dormitories after lights out, and no one could say why. Even during the day, the atmosphere changed. Some students avoided classrooms without reason. Teachers would sometimes walk past questions without answering. The school's history seemed like a story half-told, fragments here and there, never the full picture. Ngozi didn't hear all of it, but Amara's fear was enough. Something about St. Mary's didn't want to be questioned. Then it happened. A student from Amara's wing disappeared for several hours. When she returned, she was silent, her eyes wide in a way that made the other girls quiet. She refused to speak about where she had been or what had happened. That night, Amara had a dream. In it, the corridors stretched endlessly, twisting into shapes she didn't recognize. A voice called her name over and over. She woke up trembling, mumbling prayers she didn't remember learning. Something had followed her, not just in the dream, but in the room with her. Ngozi listened to her daughter's trembling voice over the phone and felt a cold knot in her chest. Ngozi tried speaking to the teachers, but they brushed her off. They said the children were tired, stressed, or simply imagining things. It was only the old matron, a woman who had served the school for decades, who spoke quietly one day. "Some walls here remember more than you do. Be careful what you send children into." Ngozi didn't understand fully at the time. But later, she realized that sometimes adults see what they choose to ignore, and children see what adults cannot. Ngozi quickly made up her mind to withdraw Amara from the school. The final night before Amara was to return home, she refused to sleep. She clutched her Bible tightly, repeating prayers over and over. She spoke of whispers in the hallway, of shadows that seemed to stare at her, and of footsteps that stopped when she looked up. Ngozi decided to take her daughter home immediately. That night, she didn't speak much on the drive. But she could feel it, something had been left behind at St. Mary's. Amara held her hand in silence, finally falling asleep only when they were miles from the school. Amara was never the same after that. She avoided dark corridors. She refused to speak about certain teachers. And sometimes, she woke up screaming from dreams Ngozi could not understand. It became clear that sending a child to a boarding school is more than trusting teachers and uniforms. It is about understanding that children notice things adults have learned to ignore. Preparing a child for boarding school is not only about lessons or rules. It is about respecting their instincts, their fears, and the unseen elements that exist around them.